Get the 411 on outdoor warning sirens. Know your parish. Our outdoor warning sirens are owned and maintained by the Waterford 3 nuclear facility and are tested at noon on the first Thursday of every month. Waterford 3 has allowed St. Charles Parish to use the sirens for other emergency situations, including tornado warnings, hurricane events, and any other event that poses an immediate and severe threat to the community. If the sirens sound, residents should stay calm, turn on your radio or television to a reliable news source, including SCP TV, and residents should not use the phone as lines are needed for official business. For more information about what to do in an emergency, go to stcharlesparish.gov, hover over departments, and click on Emergency Preparedness. To sign up for emergency alerts, text SCP Alerts to 888-777. And that's the 411 on outdoor warning sirens.
Get the 411 on large item trash removal. Know your parish. Aside from the parish's regularly scheduled trash bin pickup, residents can also request that large items be removed from the front of their property. Residents should place this debris in a neat and compact pile at the curb away from any overhead obstructions, so the truck's boom will be able to gather the debris efficiently. The St. Charles Parish Contract Monitor's Office is responsible for fielding the public's requests and facilitating large item cleanup throughout the parish. To schedule large item pickup, simply call 985-331-8604 or access SCP Report It via the parish's website. Just go to www.stcharlesparish.gov and hover over the Residents tab, then select Residential Garbage Collection. Next, click on the green Garbage Bin Repair Debris Removal button. Answer the questions and follow the prompts from there. Residents who need large items picked up might have to wait up to 2 weeks to have their debris removed, based on scheduling and truck availability. And that's the 411 on large item trash removal.
It's safe to say many of our residents are familiar with the German Coast Farmers Market. They draw hundreds of folks to their Saturday market in Destrehan each week.
We are providing fresh, local produce to our community and have been doing that. We're in our 21st year. Right there.
And the market isn't just catering to the East Bank. Every Wednesday, the market's vendors set up at the West Bank Bridge Park from noon to 5 p.m., weather permitting, to give residents an opportunity to experience all the market offers midweek.
On any given Wednesday, we're lucky enough to have a farmer with his homegrown products, his farm-grown products, and we also have home-cooked meals, meaning these ladies work in restaurants and different other venues, but they come out here on Wednesdays from 12-ish to 5-ish. It depends on the crowd, but if you come between those hours, you will find someone here.
The German Coast Farmers Market is we're here for the people. We're here for the community to come in, and different communities to come in and sample our products, our vegetables, our honey, and our hot food, prepared foods. We have it all.
It's an experience like no other. The market allows consumers to not only interact with the vendors on a more intimate level, but they also can get consumers more bang for their buck, not only through this direct sale process, but also through great programs like the market's SNAP and Senior Market Coupon initiatives.
Let's say I want $20 worth of produce and honey, and I know that, so I'm going to ask for $20 worth of tokens. So we're going to swipe your SNAP card.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, April 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Pastor John Ponder with the Life Church Assembly of God in Booty.
Amen. Let's pray. Lord, your word says in Proverbs 21:1 that the heart of the leader is in the hand of the Lord. Like rivers of water, you turn it wherever you wish. Lord, this evening I pray over the men and women that are assembled in this place. Let your leaders be open to and guided by your Holy Spirit. Lord, I thank you for those who are present. I thank you have chosen and placed them in this place of leadership. I pray that you will continue to bless them and to prosper them and their households, that you would grant them wisdom to lead and the ability to make decisions that will bring honor to your name. I pray that you will guide them this evening in everything that they say and do. Lord, thank you for your continued health and blessing and prosperity on the leadership and the residents of St. Charles Parish. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Ponder. Approval of the minutes, a motion and a second are needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of March 24th, 2025. We have a motion by Councilwoman Skiba, second by Councilman Fisher. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Special business, proclamations, canvas returns, etc. File number 2025-0083, 2024 Favorite Venue Award, Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. Mr. Jewell.
Which one is it here? Do I have it here? Just this? All right. We have the 2024 Favorite Venue Award. The certificate is proudly presented to the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. Ms. Wilma Harvey with the River Parish Tourist Commission is going to be here tonight. Is she here? All right, you can come on up, and we're going to present this award to Dwayne Foray. Is Anitra here tonight? All right, there she is.
I'm Wilma Harvey with the River Parishes Tourist Commission, but Anitra and I are members of the Society of Government Meeting Professionals, and we're with the Louisiana chapter, and every year they host a meeting at the Dufresne Center, and we host the meetings throughout the state, but then the Dufresne Center is one place that we have. So all the members get together and they vote on their favorite venue, and the Dufresne Center was the favorite venue for 2024. I want to present these to Anitra and Dwayne. And then I got something else, President. February the 19th was Destination Professionals Day, and I was busy, and I didn't get a chance to get out to get certificates. We wanted to give certificates to all the people that host the quarterly luncheon meetings. And so I have certificates for some people here. And I have to start with President Jewell. He's a little bit more because he was helping Anitra and us win a convention here. And the Dufresne Center was up for the venue. Corey's not here. He's always instrumental. And look at Dwayne. I got you some, Dwayne. He was a speaker also at our meeting. So I didn't get a chance to get those out on the 19th. So now you have them. Thank you very much. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. File number 2025 oh, you want to?
Just a few comments,
Sorry
Madam
about
Chair.
that. Go ahead, Mr.
Council,
Gray.
if you don't mind,
I don't
Parish
mind.
President Jew. So as you know, 13 years ago, we set forth moving into this wonderful facility, and we set the expectation early during the process. Clean, caring, welcoming, multi-use facility. And by this award, I think we accomplished that. As many of you know, that building is used for many occasions, not just the youth program, adult program, and senior program, but shelters at times, COVID testing at times, and all the wonderful community enhancement events that we have here in the parish. So thank you for your continued support. Thank Anidra and the staff over there. And this really is a department award. We couldn't do it without the men and women that carry on that expectation on a daily, monthly, and yearly basis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Foray. File number 2025-0084 in recognition, Reese Napolitano, Girl Scouts Gold Award. Parish President Jewell.
No. I'll be doing that, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Councilwoman DuBourrier.
Thank you. Whereas Reese Napolitano is a resident of St. Charles Parish residing in Destrehan, Louisiana, with her parents Jamie and Gary Napolitano and her sibling Brady Napolitano. And whereas Reese is a 2025 graduate of Destrehan High School and plans to attend the University of Louisiana Lafayette in the fall. And whereas Reese is a Girl Scout ambassador with Troop 20886. She received the Gold Award in 2025 for her project, Organ Donation, Education, and Awareness, a combination of events and educational resources to promote organ donation awareness, provide accurate information for residents, and aid in registration for organ donation, thereby providing life-saving opportunities and impacts in our community. And whereas Reese is the only Girl Scout locally to have recently earned the Girl Scout Gold Award, the highest honor a senior or ambassador can achieve, and whereas the Girl Scout Gold Award inspires girls to find greatness inside themselves and share their ideas and passions with their communities. It requires the completion of a combination of several leadership journeys, which involve activities allowing the Girl Scout to discover herself and her values, team with others, and take action in the community. Upon completion of these requirements, she must plan and execute a community service project that reaches beyond the Girl Scout organization and provides a sustainable, lasting benefit to the community. And whereas Reese spent a minimum of 80 hours researching organ donation statistics, common myths, and misconceptions, recruiting fellow community members to work alongside an LOPA contact and advisory to film videos for community posts and presentations in required high school health education programs. Guest speaking in a St. Charles Parish Public Schools Satellite Center healthcare class, appearing on Fox News to discuss her award project and share information, organizing an organ donation awareness event at Destrehan High School to share information and provide an opportunity for community members to register for organ donation, and participating in an event at St. Charles UMC to help members of the community gain access to accurate information regarding organ donation and the opportunity information to register themselves. And whereas the Girl Scout Gold Award gives Reese the chance to show her prestigious honor of being a leader who is organized and dedicated to improving her community. Earning the award puts her among an exceptional group of girls who have changed the world for good by tackling issues dear to their hearts while driving lasting change in their communities and beyond. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby offer this tribute and recognition to Reese Napolitano. And she's here to accept her award.
You can go around.
Sorry, I didn't realize I would be speaking. But I wanted to say thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do this without my family and my friends. It was very hard to do that within my junior year of high school and balancing all my extracurriculars, but I'm very glad I did it and raised awareness for organ donation. Thank you.
Congratulations. File number 2025-0085, proclamation, St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Day. Councilwoman Skiba.
There we go. Thank you, Councilwoman. Proclamation. Whereas the One Team, One Fight organization will be holding their 9th annual St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Festival on Saturday, April 12, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center in Luling. And whereas everyone is invited to come and enjoy a day of delicious crawfish, music, and fun while supporting the first responders of St. Charles Parish. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim Saturday, April 12, 2025, as St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Day, and invite all citizens to attend and enjoy the fun and festivities at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center in Luling. And I believe we have Natalie Wright and some first responders here to accept.
I just want to start off by saying I cannot even begin to explain how grateful I am for all the continued support for this wonderful cause. I'm truly proud and honored to be a part of this charity, and I remain impressed and humbled by our community and the support for our first responders. So thank you guys very much. And if you guys don't mind getting with Michelle, we have some shirts for y'all. Just need shirt sizes as a thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you. File number 2025-0086, proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Proclamation. Whereas thousands of dedicated telecommunicators daily serve the citizens of the United States by answering their emergency phone calls for police, fire, and medical services, and by dispatching the appropriate assistance as quickly as possible. And whereas the critical functions performed by professional telecommunicators also include those related to highway safety and maintenance activities, Office of Emergency Preparedness, and other operations performed by federal, state, and local government agencies. And whereas professional telecommunicators work to improve the emergency response capabilities of these communication systems throughout their leadership and participation in training programs and other activities provided by organizations such as the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International Incorporated, the National Emergency Numbering Association, and the Medical Priority Dispatch System. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th through 19th, 2025, as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the Parish of St. Charles in honor and recognition of our public safety telecommunicators and the vital contributions they make to the safety and well-being of our citizens. And we have retired Major Sam Zenna and some telecommunicators present tonight to accept.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the council and the parish president for again recognizing our first responders and our angels under the headsets. They work hard each and every day in order to keep the public safe and to make sure the calls are responded to appropriately. I'm going to have Commander Rivervale Nixon come up and introduce the telecommunicators.
First, I would like to thank the parish president and the parish council for the recognition of Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. This is an exciting week for us. We like to recognize our people. I mean, we want to recognize them every day, but this particular week, we take special recognition of our people, and we do some little celebrating and everything. So today we have with us a few of the people that work today. And first, we have Tracy. She's our shift manager. Then we have Assistant Commander Angel. We have my administrative secretary, Erica. We have Macy. She's a trainee. And we have our training manager, Ariel. And we have Lacey. Our quality assurance manager, Ariel, and our training manager, Lacey. So we once again would like to thank y'all for the special recognition. This proclamation means a lot to us, and this week is very important because we are unsung heroes with the first responders, and we enjoy everything we do. We enjoy serving the parish.
And of course, Armin Borg is our vice president of the board. So again, appreciate the continued support, and thank you.
Parish President Jewell.
I just want to say a thank you to all of our 911 first responders. I have a radio in my truck, so I'm constantly listening and over dispatch and everything else that y'all are doing. I don't know what y'all are saying most of the time, but it seems like everybody else does, so that's good. But I just want to say thank y'all for staying so calm in the situations. Obviously, I don't get to hear the phone calls that come into you, but we know that most of the time when people call you guys that they're in some sort of crisis, and you guys handle it with such professionalism and make sure to get the right people for the job on scene. And we just appreciate everything you do.
Thank you all. File number 2025-0087, Proclamation, National Volunteer Week, and Primetime Seniors Volunteer Day in St. Charles Parish. Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation, whereas National Volunteer Week was established by presidential proclamation in 1974 to highlight the various opportunities available for those interested in volunteering. And whereas Volunteer Week is an opportunity to recognize and thank volunteers who lend their time, talent, voice, and support to causes in the community and celebrate the impact of change makers in the community and inspire others to serve. And whereas Primetime Seniors enables older Americans aged 55 and over to enrich their lives through recreation, education, and socialization. And whereas Primetime Seniors volunteers are recruited and assigned locally to serve on a regular basis throughout the communities in local schools, libraries, hospitals, adult daycare centers, senior centers, nursing homes, veterans homes, museums, government agencies, and many other community service organizations, providing services in literacy, substance abuse prevention, mass care, disaster relief, just to name a few. And whereas Primetime Seniors Volunteer Day is a great opportunity to recognize and thank the retired and senior volunteers for giving back to their communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim April 2024 through 2028, 2025 as National Volunteer Week. Be it further resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 24th, 2025 as Primetime Seniors Volunteer Day in St. Charles Parish. Here to accept, I have Mr. Dwayne Foray.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Council, Parish President Jew. Thank you so much for recognizing our wonderful volunteers here in St. Charles Parish. We'll have that celebration at our West Bank Bridge Park at our annual Crawfish Ball. So our invitations have been made out. Thank you all got invitations. We'd love for you to join us and celebrate the wonderful work that our volunteers do here in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foray. File number 2025-0088. Proclamation, National Community Development Week. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Proclamation. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has operated since 1974 to provide local governments with the resources required to primarily meet the needs of low and moderate income individuals, and whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program is among the few remaining federal programs available to address the needs of low and moderate income individuals in small cities. And whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has provided St. Charles Parish with important and flexible assistance to meet the needs of low and moderate income residents by funding sewer, water, and street improvement projects, economic development projects, and other public improvement projects. And whereas Congress and the nation acknowledge the critical value of the Community Development Block Grant Program and the significant projects that rely on its funds for support. And whereas the week of April 21st through 25th, 2025 has been reserved for recognition and appreciation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim the week of April 21st to 2025 as National Community Development Week. And we have Ms. Carla Chasson here to accept, and I can't express enough how important this community block grant has been, and we only know the surface of what Ms. Chasson does on a daily basis, and we thank her as well.
So just last week I was working on the budget rollover amendment, and Fund 313 has all of our community development block grant dollars in it, and it totaled up to $32 million that we have currently that we're working on for disaster recovery projects. That covers 5 drainage projects in the parish. So that's going to help us be resilient in future disasters. So I just want to thank you for recognizing the importance of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson. File number 2025-0089, Proclamation, Fair Housing Month in St. Charles Parish. Proclamation. Whereas the 57th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 during the month of April is an occasion for all Americans, individually and collectively, to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom from housing discrimination whenever it exists. And whereas this law guarantees for each citizen the critical and personal element of freely choosing a home, and whereas a fair housing law has been passed by the state of Louisiana, and implementation of the law requires the positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. And whereas the departments and agencies of the state of Louisiana are to provide leadership in an effort to make fair housing not just an idea, but ideal for all our citizens. And whereas barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen to freely choose a home will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in St. Charles Parish. And Ms. Chasson is here to accept. I'd just like to ditto what Councilwoman O'Daniel said, having worked with Ms. Chasson. I know the efforts that her and her staff put into all of the grant funding that the parish receives. So thank you very much. You all are a tremendous asset to our parish government. All right. File number 2025-0099, a resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of not to exceed $10 million of taxable limited tax bonds, DEQ, of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Parish President Jewell or Mr. Dewsome?
Yeah, this is a DEQ loan, revolving loan fund. We've done these before for separate projects. This loan is going to go towards the improvements at the Hawnville wastewater treatment facility to improve our capacity there. We have Mr. David DeGeneres here to speak on any questions about the project, and then Grant to speak on anything else that I might have missed, as well as our bond counsel.
Yeah, we have Mr. Brennan Black with Foley and Jadell to explain this process. This is the very first step of that process where they have to go and apply to the State Bond Commission. But I'll turn it over to Brennan and have him.
Thank you. Good evening, Brendan Black with Foley and Udell Bond Counsel here on behalf of Jason Akers. As the parish president says, this is the revolving loan fund from DEQ. It is a loan for 20 years at 0.95% interest rate. So this just allows us to begin the process, make application to State Bond Commission. We will be back before you in June and July with the bond ordinance, and we expect to close on August 5th. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, we're going to go to public hearing first. Okay. File number 2025-0099 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0099. And that passes unanimously. Reports, finance and administrative activities. File number 2025-0090, New Orleans Aviation Board. And we have Mr. Kevin Dolio here to report.
Not many people pronounce that name correctly. Thank you.
I have to confess, I asked before the meeting.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, members, President Jewell. Thank you for inviting me here today for our biannual update on activities at the airport. I'm Kevin Dolio, Director of Aviation. Here with me is Board Member Gary Smith and our Director of Communications, Aaron Burns. And I think I control it here. Huh? Look at that, I got it. So we have continued to progress and move along and build traffic since the pandemic. And you'll see in a couple slides down, not quite back to 2019 numbers, but very close and closing in. 85% of all passengers flying in and out of the state of Louisiana use MSY, or use the New Orleans airport. We're by far the largest airport within about a 350-mile radius of us. Our catchment area, or area that we draw traffic from, goes as far west as just about to Lake Charles, north to Jackson, Mississippi, and east to Mobile, almost Pensacola, into Florida. We do draw traffic. We mentioned our growth in traffic. We're up this year about 3.6% over 2023 for 2024 at 13.2 million passengers overall. Just short of 2019, about 97% of 2019, when we did about 13.6 million passengers through the terminal. There's been new air service through this period. Alaska Airlines is providing now nonstop service to Portland, Oregon. Portland was a destination we desired for some time. It was one of the largest unserved destinations from here. Velo Airlines to New Haven, Connecticut. Two things new there, the destination and the airline. Velo is new to the market. We expect they'll grow in this market over time. Breeze Airways continues to do well here. They serve about 11 destinations from here now. And they're launching, with the launch of Tampa service in June, they'll be up to 11 destinations. British Airways, as that flight has done well since being reinstated post-pandemic, it has moved to 5 daily frequencies during the peak period. And when it drops off peak, it will go to 4 days a week service to London. Spirit Airlines, Spirit's done well on their San Pedro Sula service, and they announced recently that they'll be adding Tegucigalpa to their schedule in May or next month. Also increase San Pedro Sula to daily service, and also daily service to Cancun, Mexico, and introducing San Juan, Puerto Rico as well. So there's good news and new service on the air service front. On the parking arena, besides our normal services there, we introduced valet parking a couple years ago. That's been pretty popular. Parking reservations. If you have a desired facility, when you purchase your airline ticket, you can go on our site and reserve your parking at the same time for whatever facility you want. I think it's out to a year in advance. You can book the garage you want or the facility you want. The 15-minute economy shuttle guarantee. We used to speak often to the fact that our economy garage, it's fast, convenient shuttle service, and decided a couple of years ago to put our money where our mouth was, put up a 15-minute guarantee in 2 years, a little better than 2 years. We paid it one time. One time that we went over 15 minutes, barely, and it was really because of congestion at the terminal facility, so it had made it around in decent time. This I like to point out. In 2019, in November, so we went just about through the whole of 2019 in the old terminal, old concessions program. This year, or 2024, you see the concessions revenues in the new concessions program are 34% higher than we did in 2019. and that's with 3% less in traffic through the facility. So the program has really been accepted well. It says a lot to the old program. We were really underserved in the old program. I think we've gotten it right with the new program, and it's showing. It's showing in the numbers and in recognition. Airport accomplishments since we've been in the new facility and have operated in really a very good way across the board, across the entirety of the operation. These pieces of recognition touch different pieces of the operation. Best overall airport 4 years in a row, just announced for 2024 with the ACISQ program. Same recognition with JD Power in 2021. Best hygiene, most efficient airport in North America in our category airport. That really touches the cost for operating there and the finances of the airport. Several marketing pieces of marketing program recognition. So across the board, we've been tabbed as a good operation. We are currently in a master planning process. We're on the tail end of it. We've had a number of meetings with Citizens Advisory Council and the Technical Advisory Council made up of tenants of the airport. We're in the phase of the program now where we are finalizing a capital program for development. The numbers in the master plan are reflecting a need for more capacity over the next 15 years, both in gate capacity and terminal capacity. So we're finalizing that plan now, attaching a financing plan to it. There'll be a public hearing in short order, and I expect we'll wrap the master plan process by the summer of this year. That wraps a brief presentation, just kind of a quick update on the status of activities there, and I'll take any questions.
Okay. Any council questions? Okay, there are none. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
File number 2025-0091, Information Technology. Mr. Ayo.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members, parish president. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Anthony Ayo. I'm the Chief Information Officer here in St. Charles Parish Government, and it's a pleasure to deliver our Information Technology Office report. So I'd like to introduce our staff. We're small yet mighty. We have Eric Dufresne, who is our supervisor, Kim Cheramy, who is our information systems specialist, and Abel Dufresne, who is our information systems analyst. One thing I'd like to note, kind of unique fun fact, we've had a pretty small but mighty staff that I've mentioned. I was at a lunch and learn the other day, and I sat across from some gentlemen that worked for a law firm with about 600 employees, which is similar our size, right? They had 20 IT staff members. So I thought the three gentlemen that were there were the whole IT staff, 20 IT staff members. So very proud of what these folks are able to accomplish. So let's talk about what we do. We support our St. Charles Parish government offices and our departments, and we're kind of unique. Maybe I think government buildings might be another one that can claim this. We also serve some of the other government officials and their groups, like the district attorney, the judicial system, clerk of courts, a little bit of register of voters. So we partner with them. They're using some of our infrastructure. We hold them accountable and provide them with some services as well. So it's a fun fact. So we did a lot in 2024. I'll try to highlight them so not waste too much time for this important meeting today. But we did our parish-wide network infrastructure upgrade. If you remember last year, we did the wireless upgrade. We did the entire parish, I'd say maybe 90% of our wired infrastructure, which is the switch ports that you'd plug into the walls. Those were all upgraded. And thank you to you all for funding that and supporting that initiative in our budget. We also completed our contract lifecycle management project, which was important to our organization because we kind of had an older way of doing contracts internally and collaborating. Now, we'll say, like many things that are new, we're constantly uncovering things that could be better and growing. So we've been using this for quite a while, but every now and then some user will kind of dig deep and say, hey, Anthony, I really wish this could be different. So that's a constantly evolving program. We've enhanced some of our security patch management and our automated tools. So we do a lot of like reporting to see where the gaps are, but we've automated a lot of our patch management, not just Microsoft, but some of the other softwares that we use. And I know I'm going to say some nerdy terms, so I'm going to try and genericize them. But we did what's called a SIP trunk cloud migration, which is our phone system. Most of our phone system was on premise, which can cause problems when you have outages. So we took that, and to kind of create a level of redundancy, they now sit, like the phone numbers, if you will, sit in the cloud, and we can switch between two different cloud vendors. So now we're not relying on Cox if Cox has an outage. So that's something we've been trying to do. We've had kind of a stopgap until we were able to execute that project. The network resource consolidation plan, now that we were able to achieve that, we're able to kind of reevaluate what we need, and we need more in some locations and less in others. So that was accomplished last year. We're executing that plan now. We now have point-to-point between EOC and here at the courthouse that will help us consolidate resources out all at the EOC, and we will be able to shed some stuff here. We're helping the Emergency Operations Center with their ring down lines, with their partners, their industry partners. It's getting very costly for them to handle that, so we've come up with alternative I've been working on this since 2017 when I was here previously. So it's been kind of nice to see it come into fruition and everybody really migrating over. We've done the waterworks and clerk of courts renovation support and moves. The third floor conference room upgrades, and also I continue to serve on the State of Louisiana Cybersecurity Grant Committee. Just a little cybersecurity report. We have what we call a SOC, Security Operations Center, and our SOC in 2024 analyzed over 3.8 billion data points. So everything we do has some type of log or data point. It's ingested through our SOC. It's evaluated, and those evaluations, using artificial intelligence and behavior analytics, sometimes create some investigations, which 256 investigations, which then led to 116 reported items for evaluation. Those 116 items could be something as simple as a security change at a third-party vendor that we allow them to do. But I might get a notification at like 2 a.m. saying, hey, are you aware of this? I'm like, yes. My change management says, yes, this is planned. Sometimes we have dangerous IPs that try to access the network, and I'll get a phone call at 4 a.m. to wake up and evaluate and make sure we're doing our due diligence. I will say, traditionally during an election cycle, like the federal election that we just had, traditionally we would have a lot of attempts. There were not as many in the past. But we've done a lot of work to prevent our resources from being seen externally. So I take it the plan that we've executed from last federal election cycle has worked. And then also, if we find some dark web information, we do some proactive maintenance and change passwords and do some additional digging to make sure that nothing was compromised. None of these reported events for evaluation have turned into an actual compromise. So, but we're just doing our due diligence, and we call it running it to the ground, checking all of those reported items. Let's talk about some of our goals. You might have heard me mention it. We started work on this last year, a citizens request management system. So that's really important. We're starting to have, we've had meetings and we've documented kind of the workflows that these departments are doing when they deal with residents requesting information, maybe help or questions. They need to guidance on what to do, or want to report something that might be a problem. So we've got like 3 departments left, I believe, to document that and create a baseline, and then we'll be able to execute on that project and make sure what we're doing is going to align with what we hope we can do with the solutions that are available. We're upgrading some remote site cameras now, maybe some parks. We've been working with Parks and Recreation on that and some other locations. This Alertus project is going to replace the panic button solution. So right now there's these very old kind of analog panic buttons. We've worked with the Emergency Operations Center. They brought this to our attention. We're basically going to be able to now communicate. We're starting at the courthouse. If there's a panic alarm issue, we can send that to the desktop and tell people tornado drill, active shooter, something that might be dangerous that we need to communicate to our employees and people internally and guests and visitors. And then you'll also be able to report. So anybody that will have a button on a PC in their taskbar, they'll be able to report an incident, and security will come out. Mobile command unit infrastructure upgrades, phone system redesign. Now that we've done that migration, we can do some more continuous improvements there. And then with all the changes that we've been doing, we're going to be doing a policy and documentation review because we've got a lot of capabilities now. We're just trying to continuously improve there. So final thoughts, special thank to our IT staff. Special thank to our parish employees as well. We did the Waterworks call center. We just launched that Friday. And not only was it really neat to see them enjoy a service that we've delivered and helped deliver for them, but it was really neat watching them in their element and work. And that's what's really cool about working in this capacity, is being involved with all these departments and watching them work. And I just really appreciate how hard some of these folks work. And the Waterworks department is just one example. Thank you to the parish president and our team here. Everybody's very supportive, and especially the council members. Y'all have always been great and provided the resources for us to do what's best for St. Charles Parish. So that's all I have. And any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, I don't see any. Thank you, Mr. Io.
Thank you all.
File number 2025-0092, Parish President Remarks Report. Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. We get started with the Household Hazardous Collection Day. After a year's hiatus, our industrial partners hosted a household hazardous waste collection on Saturday at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. We don't have the final numbers yet of what was collected, and we'll have those in a couple of weeks, but we can tell you that there was multiple drums of motor oils and other fluids, 10 pallets of electronics and batteries, 3 pallets of oil-based paints and solvents, an entire roll-off dumpster of tires was collected at the site. So we appreciate everybody who came out. We appreciate Public Works and Recreation for hosting us and helping us set up for this event. And want to say thanks to the industrial partners who also helped pay for this event, make it possible, and working with our contract monitor, Justin, as well as Mike Palamone, who helped make this possible. It's always a good event. We want to host it more regularly, and we've been working with our industrial partners to come up with a plan to be able to do that and keep this this program open for our residents to dispose of household hazardous waste, things that you can't dispose of normally through our normal solid waste program. All right. Okay, both the Sellers Canal Sector Gate and the DeZalman's boat launch were closed at the end of last week because of southerly winds and persistent high tides. Thanks to the Public Works crews who went out, took care of that, get that done, and wanted to let the residents know that we're going to reopen those as soon as it's safe to do so. Obviously, in areas where we had the bulkhead, it was less of a problem. You can see here we did get out there a little late before we closed the DeZalman's boat launch. In other areas on Sunday, we did have to do some sandbagging to help some water that was leaking in from another boat launch. we hope to be able to mitigate those issues on future phases of the Desalmans bulkhead project. Once the Desalmans bulkhead is fully complete, you won't have these issues at all. It'll be a good day. All right. As we know that hurricane season is quickly approaching, wastewater is preparing by servicing all 28 of our recently installed generators. They're having them checked and serviced, obviously before June 1st. We installed these generators through American Rescue Plan funds to increase the reliability and improve the reliability of our critical lift stations and booster stations. These are stations that, when power goes out, are quick to have overflows because they are servicing a large area and so much influent is coming into them. The importance of it is that when the power goes out, especially in mass power outages, these stations continue to run and take a large portion of the system out of our hands and let us focus on those smaller community lift stations with our vacuum trucks or by leapfrogging generators with our various teams. So this has been a huge benefit to the parish. We've already seen in small power outages, some of which we've seen recently, we don't have to worry about going out and putting generators on these lift stations if we're going to have a long power outage. So it saves us from having to dispatch employees, especially on overtime, to go and take care of this. So, but we're going to do our due diligence and keep them serviced and keep them in tip-top shape. Okay, over the animal shelter, we have a rabies vaccination drive. We want you to join the St. Charles Parish Animal Shelter for the rabies annual vaccination drive on Sunday, April 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. This is going to be a drive-through event. If you're going to have a dog, you want you to have that dog on a leash, and if you have a cat, it's got to be in a carrier. To participate, residents must bring a valid ID as proof of residency. Please note that only cash payments will be accepted. For more information, please contact the animal shelter at 985-783-5010, and it's only $10 for that rabies vaccination and microchip for the pet. Okay. We hosted some Harry Hurst students at our EOC, and I want to back up a little bit because I was invited along with Jason Tasse to Harry Hurst, where one of the middle school groups had a project to create basically a disaster center or a shelter in the event of an emergency. They had to pick where the shelter was going to be located and explain why they located the shelter there. They had to explain the layout of the shelter, the supplies they had in the shelter. They did a tremendous job, and they did put a lot of thought process into it. And during that time, I told them, you probably need to come and see our EOC and how we lay that out, because it was very similar to what they were doing there. They absolutely took us up on it, and a week or two ago, they came to the EOC to see how all of it runs, and the students learned all the ins and outs of emergency preparedness. And we gave them a full tour and a lunch at the EOC. So we want to thank them for coming out. These are the fun events that we get to host from time to time. And we explained to them that, unfortunately, over the past 5 years, we spent too much time in the EOC with all 15 emergencies that we've had to go through. All right, Trash Bash. That's coming up this Sunday. If you're not signed up, you need to get signed up. We're going to be cleaning up St. Charles Parish for our annual Trash Bash. We're going to start at the community center from 9 a.m. And go until 2 p.m. Registration. Yeah, sorry. The supply distribution will be held this week at the community center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The T-shirts, grabbers, bags, gloves, and everything will be there. You can also get it on Saturday, starting at 8 a.m. at the West Bank Bridge Park. Once you're done cleaning up, please be sure to report back with the numbers of people on your team, as well as the number of bags / trash or recyclables collected, as well as the miles covered, so that we can report back our success. Again, we have partnered with Keep Louisiana Beautiful, Love the Boot Week, which is going on now. And last year we were recognized as a top parish for the event that we were doing. So this is always a great event. We want you to get signed up this week. Choose an area of the parish that you want to clean up near your home, an area of the parish that's important to you. And then it's going to be Saturday, April 12th 2025, 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, Primetime Seniors. The Primetime Seniors recently took 50 seniors to the National World War II Museum, and they had a tremendous time. Unfortunately, they probably needed another couple hours to see everything there, and we are planning another trip later this year for them to go back, or for a different group to go back. They've also, in the first quarter, have had things like chair yoga, beanbag baseball. They had a flower arrangement making class. Just want to say thanks to Dwayne, Kim, Lacey for making the first quarter of this program very impactful. We look forward to seeing what the rest of the year has in store. I've had a chance to look at the numbers for the various events. We're consistently averaging 50 or more residents on some of these programs, a lot of new faces, and a lot of programs that we didn't have before. So we're excited that they are involved. Not all of the same seniors are doing all the programs. Some prefer pickleball, some prefer chair yoga, some prefer to go to the museum for the World War II museum. Some prefer just to come and hang out at the community center. So it's great to see. It's great to see all the new faces, and we are very confident that this is going to continue to grow. You can see our April calendar is up on the screen there. And once again, thanks for all the people who are making that possible. Our 10U basketball national champions. We had our all-star basketball program, which sent 3 teams, 9U, 10U, and 12U boys, to the national tournament in Madisonville 2 weekends ago. Our teams played well and represented St. Charles Parish, our St. Charles Parish Recreation Department proudly. Congratulations to our 10U all-star team for winning the tournament. 5 boys from the team also earned All-American honors. So big shout out to our teams who did so well at the All-Star basketball tournament over in Madisonville. Last, I will leave you guys with February sales tax report. We did finally have a rebound in February for sales tax collections, as they were up nearly 10% prior to this date last year. We are nearly up 4% year on year. 10% month on month, and we're up 4% year on year. Nearly. Thanks.
Councilman Pillier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good presentation, Mr. Jewell. I was curious, the generators, are those automatic start on failure of grid power?
Yes, we have. We were going to install the automatic transfer switches. We actually had contractors come in and install those to make sure. But yes, they do kick on automatically once there's a failure of power. And just like a normal kind of generator that you would have at your house, they do test themselves, and we get reports back on if there's any malfunctions.
Thank you.
All right. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse in Hawnville. File number 2025-0094. File number 2025-0095. 2025-0096, 2025-0097, 2025-0100, 2025-0101, 2025-0102, 2025-0104, 2025-0105, 2025-0106, 2025-0107, 2025-0108, 2025-0109, and 2025-0009. Planning and zoning petitions. File number 2025-0080. An ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from C2 to R2 on lots 1A and 2A, Square B, St. Rose Subdivision, St. Rose Avenue, St. Rose, as requested by Malcolm Darrensburg for MAD3 LLC. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This request is to rezone the subject property from general commercial to 2-family residential on lots totaling approximately 12,600 square feet. The department recommends approval. However, the Planning Commission recommended denial following the public hearing. I'll be happy to assist with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2025-0080 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council? Oh, excuse me. Come on up.
Good afternoon. How you doing? My name is Malcolm Darrensburg. I'm just asking for an approval on the rezoning.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Johnny Rupert, 121 St. Rose Avenue. I own Broadband Communications, which is right next door to his proposed rezoning. I've sent the email to the council. I don't know if they got to see it or not, but we strongly oppose it, along with every landowner that's around it. The main guy that owns the strip mall, he's living with his daughter in Texas, and he couldn't be here tonight. But on that block, if y'all looked at the zoning, it's all commercial, and to put a residential right next to two businesses that are operating, we're just concerned about having residents right next to us when we're working late at night, having somebody call the law on us to shut things down, and we're just hoping that y'all oppose this rezoning. It's zone commercial. If he wants to do something commercial on it, that's fine, but he's trying to change it to residential, and it's just not, more than just a safety issue. It's just not a good area to put residents right there next to two businesses. So I would hopefully y'all oppose this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rupert. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Unfortunately, you get one opportunity to speak. We have to leave it open for the rest of the audience. If the council wants to ask a question during council discussion, they can do so, or call you back up. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. All right. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This particular piece of property is in my district. I'm familiar with the corridor, and it's basically a commercial corridor up into a point, pretty much ending at the fire station past Mr. Rupert's business, Broadband Communication. Across the street from this, most importantly, is Lavecchio's, which is a lunch place that is extremely busy. And we recently had a rejuvenation of the commercial corridor this year that everybody was excited about. We have a children's boutique that moved in on the corner of River Road and St. Rose Avenue. I'd like to state that we have received emails from every single business owner and a couple of residents who have opposed this particular rezoning as it's almost like a slice out of a commercial corridor that's just getting back on its feet and starting to look like we're going to have some more development in that area. This is pretty much the only place or the only location in St. Rose that the residents can go that's close by to shop and to have some amenities. And we're really looking forward to this particular area taking off on a commercial level. There is essentially no parking and a lot of crowding during lunchtime and other hours. And then as far as the strip mall is concerned, we have a club close by as well. So for all these reasons, I just don't think that this particular area, in my personal opinion, is appropriate to place residential sandwiched by this commercial activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman O'Daniels. Councilman Pillier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I go to these planning commission meetings. I'm an ex officio member of that. I don't vote, but I go and check out the properties that are brought in the case at the planning commission. And there was some objection. I listened to what people had said, and they were concerned also about that club and a number of people who congregate in that parking lot. So I just happened to go over to look at the property on Mardi Gras afternoon, and they must have had 100 to 125 people in that parking lot. And the traffic around there and the parking was pretty bad. So all I can say is that given what people had objected to and what I'm hearing, what I saw, I think that is a bad thing to try to go ahead and change the zoning. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pillier. Councilman Commerdale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, I just had someone in my district that was living in a mobile home on commercial property. Is this a must to change the zoning to have a dwelling on that property?
I believe, well, for the duplexes, yes.
For duplexes, yes. Single family, no.
No, you can do, well, is it it's C2. You can do them as a special permit use.
Okay, special use. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Commerdale. Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just stating that I will be abstaining from this vote. I don't know Malcolm, but we do share the last name of Darinsburg. Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. Councilwoman Wilson. Councilman Mobley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have to agree with Mr. Rupert. I do not believe this is a good location for a residential community. The traffic is horrendous along there, especially during rush hour. The cars are backed up to make those turn onto River Road. I just cannot approve a zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mobley. Any other council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0080. And that fails with Councilwoman Wilson abstaining. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing, introduced at the previous meeting. File number 2025-0081. An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Linfield Hunter and Junius, Inc. to perform engineering services for the new Sarpy CN Culvert Crossings, project number P250301, in the amount not to exceed $692,052. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a project that is within our master drainage plan. We are trying to improve the flow characteristics under the CN Railroad by installing new culverts to better transport the water from the south side of the tracks to the north. We've talked to Linfield Hunter and Junius, went through our normal process of getting a proposal from them, evaluating the proposal, and going back and forth to come to terms with them. This project is being paid for, the construction of this project is being paid for out of a grant from the Louisiana Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. We feel that the fees are reasonable and we would appreciate your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0081 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak on this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilman Pillier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I looked at this particular contract, and I think that there are similarities back to the one that's happening not too far away from me on Armand. And I kind of know the cost of that one, and I did some comparison. At first, it kind of jumped out at me that this seemed high. I did get the explanation from the Public Works engineering staff. So I think it's personally safe from what I can see, given what I know of the CN tracks. It's a bit different in that there are supporting services that add to the base fee of $410,000. And that makes sense, too, if you realize this is a grant project. And a lot of this stuff has got to be done. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's in order to get the engineering done. And it will be something that we're not sure until we get the bids on the Canadian National at Ormond whether or not our cost estimates are okay or safe or what. But I'm in favor of this, and I spent a lot of time speaking to the Public Works Department and drilling down on other projects we've done. So I feel comfortable with this, and I just thought I'd point that out to my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pillier. Councilman Fisher.
I'd like to thank Councilman Pillier for taking a look at this. He did ask a lot of questions, and Mr. Bingham and Mr. Jewell and especially our engineer Andre answered a lot of this stuff and actually broke it down. A better understanding of the fees that's going to be concerned with it. As we deal with this railroad, and I've had to do this in my professional career, the railroad has a different safety feature, ball game, engineering, and Matt has told us on several times that it's like dealing with God. So some of the fees are going to look like this. And I think we've got a really good steps and proposals to go through it. And I think our Public Works Department, especially the engineering part, has really done. I appreciate the work and the time that it goes into this. And you can tell Andre that.
Thank you.
Very, very excited of it. So as we get these drainage projects that we've never, ever done before, we're going to continue seeing things like this. So Master Drainage Plan shows a lot of this. It is in my district, and it's not just going to affect my district. It's actually going to affect drainage pretty much on the whole east bank of St. Charles Parish. So, again, Mr. Bingham, excellent job. Please convey Andre my thanks for this. The information, the communication was awesome. So, thank y'all.
Thank you, Councilman Fisher. Parish President Jewell.
I just want to clarify that I think if we were dealing with God, I think he'd be able to snap his fingers and they'd be done already. I have mentioned in the past that the order that it goes is usually God, railroads, and then Congress, and that's the reason they call it getting railroaded. So we're doing our best to work with the railroad. That has been a change from previous administrations, from our conversations with them. So we're working with them. Anything they're pretty much asking for, we're doing, because they hold the keys to the kingdom when it comes to these projects. And I just want to say that for this cost estimate, and working with our contractor, our engineer right now, for the CN Railroad culverts, there was a lot of things that were left out of our original contract that needed to be done that we just didn't know about when we started this process with BBEC. We took the lessons learned from that first engineering and design phase and have added it in to this contract. So we believe that this contract is much more reflective of the true scope and nature of the project. And I just want to give a big shout out to Andre Ford and our engineering staff. She sent me a follow-up after Councilman Fisher reached out on everything. And let me just tell you that young lady crosses her I's, she dots her T's. She's very, very professional with that. What's that? That's why I'm not doing it. Okay. She dots the I's and crosses the T's. See, if I would have put the engineering contract up, it would have been all wrong. And then I just want to say thanks to Miles because this does go through a process. And when we start an engineering project, I used to wonder why is it taking so long to come to council? It's because we do our due diligence up front and scope it out with the engineer to make sure that we are getting what we want and that we are not being taken advantage of. Not that we think that engineers are trying to take advantage of us, but we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence to protect the taxpayer. So I just want to say I appreciate all the work that the Public Works Office does. Andre, Lee, Zach, Miles, to cross the T's and dot the I's. Thank you.
Thank you, Parish President Jewell. Any other council discussion? All right. Please cast your votes for file number 2025-0081. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you all. And I will let Andre know about all the praise she got here tonight, which she will not like because she is not a person that likes to be in the limelight. She just likes to do her job and do it well.
File number 2025-0082, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Barrier Construction Company, LLC, for road maintenance 2024-25, project number P220501, in the amount of $2,723,000 Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is our annual, well, actually, more like every 2 year maintenance program for asphalt. This one will address a lot of the remaining streets that are on the poor and very poor. We do have a couple that are going to be left that have individual projects for them for those specific streets. So we would appreciate your support for this so we can get this work started.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0082 is now open for public hearing. If there was anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0082. And that passes unanimously. Persons to address the council. File number 2025-0103, Mr. Corey Jr., Canal Servitude, Public Works, St. Rose.
Good evening to all y'all. I came in today. I want to thank my council lady, Miss O'Daniels, for all her help and stuff. I always call her, get in touch with her as of lately when stuff going on, because I got tired of keep calling and harassing the public work department. The area department, was telling me it's their problem and stuff. Mr. Jews, I tried to, like 3 different times in the past. A couple years ago, I tried to get you. Well, I don't know if you was president back then, but I know I tried to get in touch with you. Just recently, like about a week or 2 ago, I left, the office. I went up there hoping I'd get in touch with you or whatever. But, I ain't leave a message for you. But every time I call, I feel like I'm harassing the parish to do their job, or at least give me some answers or whatever. Behind my house, they have a ditch. It's dry if no rain don't come. But when it rain, when I built my house in 2009, Landcraft sold me the lot. I was the first house on that side. So they told me that the ditch was there for the water to drain from River Road to railroad tracks. That's to stop the subdivision Fairfield to help them from flooding. So since 2009, the grass used to grow, had alligators coming from the railroad tracks. I had a pool in the backyard. Just took my little boy out the pool. Look outside with alligator this long walking out the backyard coming from them tracks. Railroads don't spray it, they don't cut back there. The parish wasn't doing nothing. And before Landcraft built the rest of the houses, they wasn't making the court enforcement wasn't making them cut it. So they finally started cutting it. Big Curtis was the foreman back then, I believe. And he used to cut it back there. When they stopped, and I call them, they say it was blocked at the front, and they needed somebody to, let them in at the front. When they had every house built on that street, they couldn't get back there. That bin got, gave them access. They got access from the back by the sewer plant that they never cut. They let all the grass grow up in there. And the gate is wide open back there. So they can't cut it a few times. Now the ditch is unleveled. They came one time for me, keep calling to level the ditch off. They only did it behind my house. They kept telling me when the parish get money, they're going to get the ditch done because it need to be leveled. Jaquan was the best worker they have. I understand. I heard that he's not with the parish no more. He the one came to my house. He was very knowledgeable. He knew all about that. So now the ditch ain't level, and they think I'm complaining that I know all the water not going to drain when it fill up or when it get to a certain level. That ain't what I'm complaining about. The ditch done sunk on both sides, and when Fairfield flood bad, and it's getting worse every storm. All the water coming, I know you can't stop it, it's getting higher and higher. And when that ditch not draining just from a regular haul rain, it's like for days and days it sit in section. You can't be a parish worker who say, they do their job. You look back there, it's like this. In certain spots, it can't got to be a certain level to get over a hump. It's supposed to be smooth. They don't want to come cut it. The residents been keeping up. We can't block it. We've been keeping up, cutting it, doing our best to keep it up. So now the lady ain't been home at the last house by the railroad tracks. The grass is high. I was paying somebody for about 2 years to cut it. I was cutting it, cutting the grass, and now it's just high because when it rained one time, when they had after the snow melted, and it was about being the last house. It was soggy. I got a brand new ride lawnmower, and it kept getting stuck in all that. I called the parish, asked them to come cut it. They don't want to come cut it. They had a tree that last year I made a big old deal about because it was blocking at the end of the line. It was blocking it, and they knew it was blocking it. And all kind of grass. I had to keep calling them, and they knew another storm or bad storm was coming. You think they'll come cut it? They didn't. Finally, kept contacting my council and everybody. They finally can cut the ditch. Kevin made a work order to Mr. Kevin Moore. I don't know if you know he in here. He made a work order for them to come finally level the ditch off. That was what, I don't know if that's 2022, I believe, and nobody still ain't never came up to do it. But before he made that work order, they was coming promising to word them out. The parish would get the money, they was gonna do it. And we know, I know, and I know as well as some of y'all know, I don't know if all of y'all know, Fairfield have a bad flooding problem, and they got a lot of residents that's mad, and our subdivision. So at this point, I just want to know what they're going to do to make the drainage area better. I heard something about, they say something about engineering. It don't even take engineer. Engineer could come back there and look to see how to get it drained better when it get to the back of the tracks, because they had all that blocked, and they know it's blocked. Once it drained, it don't
Mr.
go
Junior,
nothing.
do you need more time?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm almost finished.
Pause just a second and we'll take a vote on it, okay?
Okay.
All right, I need a motion to extend the time an additional 3 minutes. I have the motion by Councilwoman Wilson, second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Please continue.
I appreciate y'all. Well, the ditch is blocked, and they know it's blocked. And when they come down to the sewer yard, they have rodents that live in those grasses at certain time of year and stuff, and that's bad. The sewer yard, they don't cut that, and all they do when you keep calling, they'll finally, Public Works, I believe, I don't want to misspeak, but they say it's the sewer department problem. And they don't, I see them pass Public Works a lot of times in the neighborhood, but they'll say it's the Public Works, sewer department problem. All they do is go in there, y'all, spray all them chemicals, and the grass die after a long time. It turned brown, but it don't go nowhere, and they don't cut it. So now at the end of the line by me, the grass is so high. Now I heard they said they will come spray the chemicals on it, and that's it. But if you spray the chemicals, it's gonna turn brown, and it's still gonna be there. So when you try the water trying to get through back there, it's not gonna go nowhere. It bad enough when it do get back there, still ain't leveled off back there, because the problem at the parish, the workers, they know what's going on back there. So we got all kind of different problems that's working against trying to get that stuff to drain. And even if they do come spray it or they come cut it, they still need to rake it. They say they can't get equipment back there. You don't need equipment. All you need is some workers some workers get weed eaters. Weed eaters will take care of the problem. I've been keeping my part to keep that part up back there. A lot of people been keeping their part to do it, but at this point I need help. If they willing to come home, help, I appreciate it. I pay taxes. And I've been paying my taxes, ain't never been late. They had a lot of people was asking me when I come talk to y'all, they been want to come talk to y'all, let them know what the meeting is. I ain't let them come, I ain't even tell them. They just know about it. I ain't tell them because, just to give y'all the courtesy to keep, people from coming up in here or trying to come up in here and giving y'all, y'all, I didn't come address y'all yet. Nobody else that I know of came address y'all, so I'm just giving y'all a courtesy not to even do that or whatever. But a lot of them mad, they mad about that. So I just ask, they saying that it's the homeowner's responsibility to cut the canal. But if it's a parish right away, I guess a parish ditch or whatever, why the homeowners have to cut it? I don't mind keep cutting it. A lot of other neighbors don't mind keep cutting behind their lots that the parish where they stopped cutting it. So they should still come, cut it, do something. But if it's not the parish problem, let me know as of now if they switch something, because they used to cut it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Junior.
Thank you.
Okay, Parish President Jewell.
So I had a hard time opening my GIS map here, but it looks like from what I'm seeing is that small swale in your backyard is a servitude.
Yes.
Okay, so you own that servitude. It is subservient for drainage, so it's subservient to a parish use. But the vast majority of all the servitudes in the parish, whether the ditch is in your front yard or the backyard, are taken care of by the residents.
Okay.
The hard part is that we do have some issues, and it's a problem in a lot of areas of the parish where we cannot get our equipment back there. Hard for us to access private property without getting, without trespassing or getting a right of entry every time that we go out there. This is something that we've been dealing with all over. So for most people that are taking care of it, that is the right thing to do. Obviously, there may be times where we need to come back there and, like you said, level it out. But I do want to let you know that we do try to encourage residents with servitudes, because they own those servitudes. It's on your property description. It's on your property survey. You own it. To make sure to maintain it. That makes our lives a lot easier. We don't ask much of the residents when it comes to drainage. The only thing we ask for them to do is to take care of their yards. We never ask anybody to turn on a pump. We never ask anybody to cut a canal. But I know that when you put this request in, that there was some more information. We did talk to Kevin Moore. Jaquane still works for the parish, by the way. He works with Kevin Moore. And Miles, I just wanted to turn it over to you to see if you want to talk a little bit more. To briefly, we do have a project that we are in the scoping phase right now, just like what I talked about earlier, going back and forth with our engineers, going back and forth with a granting agency called LWI to put a much larger pump station to service Fairfield and Oakland, and part of that would be able to capture the drainage from your neighborhood as well. But Miles, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
That was about one of the things I was going to say. One of our major projects, we did a master drainage plan, and that is one of the major projects in our thing. It is currently working through the LWI process to get their approval for that pump station. We're going to take the Fairfield pump station and the Oakland pump station, combine them into one, making a bigger pump station with a bigger sump, which will mean that will pull all that water out of that canal. Now, if you're saying that you had humps in your canal, right?
Oh, they have humps, yeah.
Okay. Well, in the ditch that's behind your house. I will actually tell my staff to go out there and look at that, because that is something that we could fix for you. Yes. Okay? And I will do that.
Okay. I can ask y'all one more question. I mean, the lady ain't been there. I don't know what she doing with the house or anything or whatever. I've been keeping, I was keeping it up. I was cutting her grass, and somebody else starting to cut the grass. But as of right now, at the end of the line, even when it's past her property, the grass is real high because couldn't never get nothing done. So I was just asking if the parish could at least help, if they could, to at least cut that. And I personally, continue to pay somebody till we figure out what she's doing, she coming back or not,
Mr.
or whatever.
Junior, we're going to get Mr. Albert to take a look at that. Do you have a physical address for that property?
My property is 225 West Penn Oak, and I've been gave Kevin them permission, Curtis, everybody for years to come in my backyard. I don't have no dogs and nothing, and they don't need to come in my backyard if they want.
I'm going to get you to get with Mr. Albert after we finish, but Councilwoman O'Daniels also wishes to speak.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Corey, thanks for addressing this. This is something that needs to be clarified throughout the parish. That if it's your servitude, it's on your property, it's you cut it. But you did indicate that your neighbor is having issues and not taking care of her lawn. So, Chair Lady here wanted you to talk to Planning and Zoning, because it's their department to make sure that grass is cut. So if you have an issue where the grass starts getting high, you can contact Planning and Zoning, or you can contact me to contact Planning and Zoning, and they'll have somebody cut it. So that's why she wants you to talk to Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Junior.
you so
We're
much.
going to move on now.
And we'll continue to work with this with Public Works, and they'll take a look at that, and we'll deal with the grass.
And I want to Miss Impostado, thanks for listening to me when I was calling up there. You really helped me. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings. Civil Service Board, Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Communications District 911, Monday, April 14th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. Board of Adjustment, ZBA, Thursday, April 17th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Pontchartrain Levy District, Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Pontchartrain Levy District Headquarters Complex, 2069 Railroad Avenue in Letcher. St. Charles Parish Council, next meeting is Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Announcements. Parish holiday Friday, April 18th, 2025, Good Friday. Special matters to be considered by the council. File number 2025-0098, a resolution nominating and electing a St. Charles Parish Council voting member representative to the local ITEP committee. Are there any nominations for a voting member representative to the local ITEP committee? Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would like to nominate the President, Matthew Jewell, for this position.
Thank you, Councilwoman O'Daniels. Councilwoman O'Daniels would like to nominate Parish President Jewell for this position. Are there any other nominations this evening? All right, seeing no other nominations at this time per Rule 40, I've confirmed that all members have had the opportunity to submit an individual to be nominated. If there was anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there any council discussion regarding this item? Seeing none, I have a motion by Councilwoman O'Daniels, a second by Councilwoman DeBrouillet to close nominations. All right, please cast your votes to close nominations. Yep. Okay, and that passes unanimously. Nominations are closed. And now we'll vote. Please cast your vote to elect the nomination of Parish President Jewell as the St. Charles Parish Council's voting member representative to the local ITEP committee. And that passes unanimously. Congratulations, Parish President Jewell. File number 2025-0093, executive session, Rathborne Land Company LLC versus St. Charles Parish. And we will now, a motion and a second are needed to go into executive session. We have a motion by Councilman Fisher, a second by Councilwoman Skiba. Please cast your votes to go into executive session. And that passes unanimously. All council members present, Parish President Jewell, Legal Services Director Corey Oob, Legal Services Assistant Director Robert Raymond, and Charlie Chauvin are going into executive session and will return shortly. Okay, I need a motion and a second to return to the regular order of the agenda. We have a motion by Councilwoman Skiba, second by Councilman Fisher. Please cast your votes to return to the regular order of the agenda. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0093, Rathborne Land Company LLC versus St. Charles Parish was discussed in executive session. Adjournment. Motion and a second are needed to adjourn. We have a motion by Councilwoman O'Daniels, second by Councilman Pillier. Please cast your votes to adjourn. That passes unanimously. On behalf of the council and myself, we wish you all a safe and happy Easter. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned.